Are you ready to have your ADHD mind blown? Hello, if you don't know who I am, my name is Lola and I am an ADHD coach, which means I help people with ADHD, or if you think you have ADHD because of all the videos you've seen online, to develop tips and tricks that work for their brain and create products for them. So the reason you cannot get through your to-do list, it's either because of perfectionism, which I'm going to get into in a second, or because your brain sees it as too much, and that as well I'm going to explain in a second. So if it's the perfectionism, this is how it goes on in your head. So every single time you have a to-do list, let's say, oh, cleaning the office, instead of just being like, oh, I have to tidy, your brain goes like, it has to be perfect. It has to be museum level cleanliness. And because that feels like a lot of energy is needed, your brain all of a sudden is like, I don't want to do it. Even though it's not written, I have to like clean everything with the toothbrush. Your brain goes, it needs to be perfect. It needs to be perfect. Otherwise I can't do it. That's a big issue. A great solution for that is to reduce your expectations. And you get to do that with everything except dating. Always high standards when dating. But for everything else, instead of being like cleaning has to be the best cleaning in your whole entire life, shitty is better than skipped. Keep that in mind. So every single time you have to clean or you desire to clean, try to rile back your brain to like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to get done. It gets to be the basic. Basic is okay? But the problem might be as well that your brain is literally dissecting all the tasks. So, for example, if you say, oh, cleaning the office, your brain doesn't just see cleaning the office as one task. It's like, okay, well, in the office, I have to vacuum, I have to move stuff, there's dust everywhere, there's paper that needs to be placed. And it's just like dissect all the micro tasks that are within the big task of cleaning the office. So even though you try and you start to do smaller things within the cleaning the office realm, your brain feels like you're not moving forward. Like there's nothing getting done because you cannot never check that box of like, oh my God, I cleaned the office, because there's always more that gets to be done and I was never mentioned. There's always like, oh, but this, oh, but that, oh, but that. So this is a big problem as well. One thing that I encourage my clients to do is when you have these big tasks like this, you can dissect them into as small as possible. Why? Because we all do this. You'll have your to-do list and you'll always write a thing or two that you've already done just for the good feeling of like checking a things off and you're like, good job, me. We all do it. So you get to do the same thing. As smaller the tasks are, the more reward you get because you're like, oh, you like 5 minutes later, you get to check 3 things off your list. Feels so good. But I think something that is very important to take into consideration, that it's okay not to go through your whole to-do list. It is something that we have a tendencies to do, is you'll have a full page, like every single little things that you want to accomplish in the next like 6 months is written on that one list. So even though you still go through some stuff, more things add up. So visually it's not going anywhere, and that's very, very hard for your brain because it feels like every single time you do something else adds up to the list and you're like, why am I even doing this? So this is why I'm encouraging you, when you're doing lists, do the smallest itty bitty it's okay to have like the big list, but do a small list for the day-to-day that has like 1, 2, maximum 3 items on it that are, again, not the big items of like cleaning the entire house, but like micro dissect items on it, so it feels better. And if you go through all 3 and you still have energy, great, go and pick something else from the list, but have an itty bitty list that if you go through it, it feels good as fuck, because having the big list of 60 things doesn't feel good. So to recap, shitty is better than skip. Dissect those big tasks and reduce the amount of things you're asking yourself to do every single day. Let me know how that helps you.